You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Jody Miller-Young, and spring is here. And that means more trips to the dog park and some longer trips for new adventures. So if your pup is in your travel plans, there's something to think about that may not be so pleasant. Luckily, there's a stylish and effective solution to a pesky problem most dog parents face. Today, we're going to meet Andy Katz, President and CEO of Pet Edge, a large supplier of pet products to a favorite store near you. One of the product lines in the Pet Edge arsenal is called Insect Shield. It's a very effective line of garments and accessories that protect our pets from things like fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and other nasty bugs. Yuck! These products are awesome for travel, and we'll learn more about them during the show. We're also excited to welcome Dr. Katy Nelson. The good doctor is an associate veterinarian in the Bellhaven Animal Medical Center and has been a small animal veterinarian for many years. She's been featured on Today's Show, Fox and Friends, CNBC, HuffPost Live, and many, many others. But you might know her as host and executive producer of The Pet Show with Dr. Katy. It's on Washington, D.C.'s News Channel 8. We love The Pet Show here at Bark and Swagger, not only because Dr. Katy and her guests share important information to be a better pet parent, but because she also covers fun things like fashion, which is near and dear to our hearts, right? So we have a lot to cover today. While we take a short break from our sponsor, go grab your favorite beverage, get cozy, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back after a short pause.
It's hard to find time for your furry family member. That's where Camp Bow Wow comes in. All-day play and overnight camp, daycare and boarding for dogs. Everything is included. Large play areas for fun and exercise. Spacious cabins, comfy cots, even live camper cams to watch from a computer or smartphone. Camp Bow Wow offers the best care and is the place to go where a dog can be a dog. For locations and more information, visit campbowwow.com.
Are you having trouble getting the word out about your new pet product or invention? Let Whitegate PR open the gate to your marketing and public relations efforts. We've been specializing in public relations in the pet industry for over a decade. From press releases to media relations and publicity to pet trade shows and launch events to social media, the pet-friendly team at Whitegate PR has you covered. If you listen to the wise words of Bill Gates, he says, "If I had $1 left, I'd spend it on PR." Learn more at whitegatepr.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Jody Miller-Young, and we're here today to talk turkey about bugs. Nasty bugs that make life for our furry friends less than fun. I'm talking fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and more. And with spring and summer travel just around the corner, what better time to discover a collection of products that could protect your pet against all of said above. And they're stylish, too. Meet Andy Katz, President and CEO of Pet Edge, the makers of a line of clothing and accessories called Insect Shield, and Dr. Katy Nelson, veterinarian and the host of The Pet Show with Dr. Katy. Hi, Andy. Hi, Dr. Katy.
How are you, Jody?
Doing really well, thanks.
I'm doing well, too. Happy to be here.
Good. Happy to you guys, too. If you're a pet parent, you have to address the flea and tick problem at some point, right? And it's not pretty. We've got drugs, we've got sprays, bombs. Sometimes it's really hard to know where to turn. But now, apparently, we have clothing and accessories, too, that can solve our dilemma. Andy, tell us about Insect Shield. What is it and how does it work?
Sure. This is really a fascinating product line. The technology we use was originally developed for the U.S. military, where the military came to this scientist in the 90s and asked for help protecting our troops from mosquitoes and sandflies. and other bugs. And so ultimately he came up with this technology of embedding permethrin, which is a synthetic version of pyrethrin, which is the insecticide that comes out of chrysanthemums, naturally occurring and so forth. And he came up with a way of embedding this permethrin into the fibers of a fabric, very similar to how color adheres to the fibers of a fabric. Basically, it doesn't come out. So we've come out with this whole range of textile-based products that will help protect your pet from fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes in a very sort of non-traditional way. And if I'll give you kind of an example of how this works.
Okay, great.
Like most pet owners, I have two Labrador retrievers. So like most pet owners, I used to always use those spot-on treatments every month, and I'd bring my dogs in the backyard and put the spot-on, and then we have an underground fence, so I'd lock the dogs in the backyard. I'd come in, wash my hands with soap and water, and I'd tell the kids, don't let the dogs in the house, don't touch them for a couple hours. They have that stuff on them. Yeah. And then let's say a tick gets on my dog after I put one of those spot-ons on, and he bites my dog. That tick's dead in about 48 hours. So now with Insect Shield, if a tick were to land on an Insect Shield treated textile like a T-shirt or something like that, that tick, and you can go to our Insect Shield for Pets website and watch the video on this, that tick's dead in about just a couple of minutes. And yet they make baby onesies and maternity wear out of the same textile. So it's
that is incredible.
Safe. Yeah.
So this is like one of those new smart fabrics.
It really is. It's kind of the future, I think, of how this problem gets solved.
Very interesting. Dr. Katy, we all know that bugs are bad on our pets, but give us a little more insight on why it's so important to get this bug problem under control.
Well, I mean, we all know that they're irritating, and we think of fleas as being itchy, and we think of ticks as leaving a sore or a scab, and maybe a mosquito as a little lump where it's really itchy too. But, we have to remember that the number one killer of people in the world is malaria, and malaria is transmitted by mosquitoes. So these guys are not playing around. We all know that Zika virus is on our radar right now, being in South America and the Olympics coming up. Now, granted, we don't have to worry necessarily about malaria and Zika in our pets, but the one thing that we do really need to worry about in our pets with mosquitoes is heartworm disease. And we used to think of heartworm disease sort of as a southern disease. It was where it was hot, it was where it was sticky, it's where the mosquitoes were big, basically where I grew up in Louisiana. But, now, especially since Katrina 10 years ago, heartworm disease has spread all across the country. We've diagnosed it in all 48 of the lower states. And, the same sort of thing with Lyme disease. We used to think of Lyme disease as a Northeast, a regional disease. But again, it is in every single part of our country now, all 48 of the lower states we've diagnosed Lyme disease in. So this is nothing for us to think, oh, well, I live in Minnesota, I don't have to worry about heartworm disease, or I live in California, I don't need to worry about Lyme disease. It's not true. We have to worry about it in all of our pets, and we even have to worry about it in our indoor pets. How many times have you been sitting on your couch and a mosquito has bitten you on your ankle or on your arm? It happens. They get into our home. We open our doors, we open our windows, and they come into our homes, or they can just ride in on our pets. So it is definitely something that we have to take seriously. And, on a level of importance, it's right up there with having your rabies vaccine. It is extraordinarily important. And not only will it help to protect your pets, it will also help to protect the two-leggers in your family as well, because, what could be worse than one of our children getting infected with Lyme disease because a tick rode in on our dog after we went for a walk. So this is something we have to take seriously for all members of our family.
And it can be quite scary. We've heard many, many horror stories about undetected Lymes in humans and in pets and what happens over time. And, I wish something like Insect Shield was around years ago when I had my shepherd. She would pick up Lymes. We were in the Northeast. We were in a wooded area. And luckily, she would get lame very quickly. So I knew and I could handle it immediately. But it's very, very important, everybody. So yeah, take this to heart. So Andy, with the Zika virus certainly in the news, as Dr. Katy mentioned as well, this proprietary formula means that it protects against Zika too.
It does, yeah. Insect Shield is very effective against all mosquitoes, including those that carry Zika. You know, it's funny, when I go to my kids' soccer games, I'm always wearing an Insect Shield shirt, Insect Shield hat to protect myself. And, you know, there is, if your pet is protected wearing Insect Shield garments and, you know, neck gaiters and all that kind of stuff, there is sort of, let's call it an aura that, you know, there's a protection that extends beyond the pet himself. So if you're, you know, the military does all this testing on, even though all U.S. soldiers now wear uniforms that are treated with Insect Shield. And so the military is always testing Insect Shield, making sure it's working. So they do these tests where they put soldiers in treated uniforms next to soldiers in untreated uniforms just to measure the effect. And when all the soldiers are combined together, those in treated uniforms and untreated uniforms are all protected, sort of by we call it a shield, right, an aura that gets created by this permethrin embedded in. So you're protecting your pet, but if you're walking your dog at night and you've got a safety vest on, you're also affording yourself some level of protection because it does extend beyond the textile itself.
That is really interesting. Has it ever been tested just how far the range is?
I don't know that has specifically been tested. What I can tell you is that sort of the way this works is permethrin always represents on all of our products, it's 0.5% of the total weight of the product. So sort of the more protection you have in terms of the more textile, the more, whether it's an apparel item, et cetera, the wider that protective net is. So, and it doesn't go to a certain distance and then just stop. The insects can kind of sense the permethrin and will generally stay away.
Got it. Very, very interesting. And Insect Shield clothing is available for humans as well.
It is. I wear some myself.
That's great to know. We're going to talk more about that later. Dr. Katy, what do you like about Insect Shield? Not only because what it does, but maybe because it's not an invasive product. I mean, what would your recommendation be about sort of a pet parent's ideal arsenal to protect that pet in season? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you nailed it right there with the arsenal. You know, this is not a product that is aimed to take the place of your pet's heartworm prevention. You know, this is not a product that we're trying to say you don't need your Frontline or Advantix anymore, especially if you live in an endemic area. This is not the point of this. This is something else in your arsenal to help protect your pets from these terrible diseases. You know, we talked about Lyme. There are multiple tick-borne diseases that our pets face: Rocky Mountain spotted fever, ehrlichiosis, anaplasmosis, all these big long names with terrible side effects. And fleas, you know, we all think of them as itchy and gross and nasty, but they also carry tapeworms, and they carry the hantavirus and all sorts of other terrible things. So we have to take all of this seriously, and what we can do is, you know, talk with your veterinarian about which products they recommend for your area. And we've seen in a lot of areas, especially where ticks and fleas are really, really terrible, that these bugs are starting to develop some resistance to our products that we've had on the market for years. And so this is just something else in your arsenal that you can use to help keep your pets and your kids and your whole family protected. And, you know, but by the way, they're super cute. They've got some really
adorable. We're going to talk about that.
They are.
I like them too.
Cute, and there's this whole line of stuff that you can use too. I mean, it's not just a neck gaiter or a little T-shirt. I mean, they've got things for your home. They've got things for your car. So it really is sort of like total environmental protection for your pets. And I think it's just one of those big guns that you can keep in your arsenal.
I think that's really great advice. Thank you, Dr. Katy. We're going to take a break here for a word from one of our sponsors. But when we come back, we're going to talk about just that, the fun, cute, stylish stuff that is the Insect Shield collection. So don't go away. Just go refresh that beverage, get cozy, and we'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back, right after we kibble a little with our sponsors.
I'm a U.S. Air Force member stationed overseas, and we have 3 rescued mutts. Stone Phillips was to be euthanized. There were bacteria crawling all over his skin. They called it elephant skin. It was rough, wrinkly, like a Brillo pad. He was in constant misery.
DINOVITE.com.
We started feeding him the Dinovite, and his skin, it's a 180 turnaround. His skin has cleared up. He's not in pain. Stone is in excellent shape today. He runs, stays slim and trim and follows my husband around like he worships him. I would highly encourage you to get a rescue dog and start them out on Dynavite right from the beginning, and they'll make such a difference in your life. Call 859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
Or go to Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Begging to hear more of your favorite show? Full episodes of all our shows are available on demand. Go to PetLifeRadio.com to fetch our entire lineup of Possum Pet podcasts. Also, dig us up at iHeartRadio Talk and iTunes. Let's talk pets. Live and on demand only from Pet Life Radio.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Jody Miller-Young, and we're here with Andy Katz and Dr. Katy Nelson, and we're talking Insect Shield, how to stylishly protect our pups from nasty bugs now that we have summer coming around the corner. So, Andy, like Dr. Katy mentioned, there are lots of different garments in the Insect Shield line, and it's not only garments. Let's start talking about apparel. Tell us what's included in the collection because they're really, really cute.
Sure. Well, there's 4 different basic apparel items. So there's a lightweight T-shirt, which is actually probably our most popular. It provides great all-over protection. And then there's a lightweight hoodie that is a little bit bigger. It's still very lightweight, but it has a hood, of course. So as I mentioned before, the more material you have, the more protection you have. In addition to that, we have a safety vest that has reflective lining on it. So, you're taking your dog out either for an early morning walk or a late afternoon, evening walk. In addition to, protecting your pet from fleas and ticks and mosquitoes, the reflectiveness on the vest will protect you from oncoming traffic. And then the newest item that we have this year is a mesh tank, which is a little bit more breathable. It has a little bit, mesh panels on the side. So in the warmer weather, I think that's going to be pretty popular. They all come in a very sporty color palette. It's kind of like there's orange with some contrasting gray/charcoal and some green with contrasting gray as well. That kind of gives it a very sort of sporty look to it. And of course, all the apparel items, actually everything in the Insect Shield line is completely machine washable.
And, it's not just any green or orange. They're like bright, like lime green and bright orange, perfect summer colors. And I love that mesh tee. It's going to be great for a beach vacation. The dog can stay cool and still be protected from sand fleas and all those other nasty little bugs in the sand. So that's great. A question, Andy. I have a little Chihuahua, Albie, and he's got sensitive skin, and he has a flea issue now and again, and he's scratching. So if I put an Insect Shield tee or hoodie on him, it's going to stop those fleas from jumping on him and therefore allow his skin to calm down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically the insects would stay away as a general rule just from sensing that permethrin. So, and if for some reason a flea were to jump on, I'll be wearing a hoodie, he would quickly jump off or he'd be dead. So,
I'm getting out of here.
So it's pretty effective in that way.
Great. Now, part of many vacation plans involve car travel, plane travel, and Insect Shield has something for both. Tell us about some of the accessory products that you make and how they can help in the car, hotels, on the plane, etc.
Sure. So, I'll start by telling you, I mentioned before I have 2 labs, so sometimes I'll go hiking with them, and, we'll be hiking in the woods and all that kind of stuff, and I know no matter what protection I'm putting on my dogs, if you're hiking in the woods in the tall grass, you're going to get ticks, and so when we're done, they hop in the back of my SUV. I have an Insect Shield SUV liner. So rather than worrying about those ticks crawling along around my car, getting on my family or myself or even staying on the dogs, if they start walking around on that SUV liner, they're going to be dead pretty quick. So not only am I protecting my SUV from the mud and all that kind of stuff, it's also taking care of the bugs. And so likewise, we have a car seat cover for people that let their dogs sit on the car seats. Why not keep yourself and your family and your pet sort of protected in the car seat as well. Let's see, we've
Perfect.
got, we have a portable exercise pen that, it's fabric-based. You use it in your backyard, but you can easily take it with you when you travel to protect your pets. We've got cots and beds that are also great for travel. I'll tell you, my favorite, or one of my, I guess, like my children, no one is my favorite, but one of my more favorite items is a blanket that we have. And it sounds kind of basic, but the blanket is really nice because you can kind of use it in so many different ways. You put it on top of an existing dog bed. You put it on a cage. You put it in the car, on the seat, etc. My youngest daughter, remember last July 4th for the fireworks, she had herself wrapped in it and was keeping her safe from mosquitoes as well. So anyway, we've got a bunch of good travel products.
That's fantastic. Question: bed bugs. If you first of all, does the proprietary formula handle bed bugs and insect shield products?
I was talking to one of the scientists at Insect Shield, and we do not make any claims about bed bugs. I do believe it is effective against that, but that's not a claim that we make. But I believe that technology does address those pests as well.
Okay, good to know. I mean, it certainly can't hurt to throw an insect shield blanket on your hotel room bed so that your doggy can play on there. It's cozy and it's cute, and it can't hurt, right?
Right.
Exactly. Also, there's a reversible dog sling that I loved, especially having 2 Chihuahuas, because they're up and down and up and down. And, with fleas and tick season here, I'm in Florida, so let's face it, it's flea and tick season 12 months of the year. So with them up and down, it's a great way to make sure that they don't transfer whatever they may have picked up when they're walking around up onto me when I'm carrying them around. So that's another accessory that you should definitely look at because it's very, very cute. Dr. Katy, I know you love style as much as I do. Do you have a couple of favorite products?
Well, I do love the little mesh tees. I've got 2 poodle mixes, one big, huge one, and one little one. And my big, huge guy is always hot. So for me to put a T-shirt or a hoodie on him, first off, it'd have to be monstrous. But second off, I think he would probably overheat really quickly. So I think the mesh tee is probably one of my favorites. Just don't get one to match for your husband. That's a no-no. But
I totally agree.
Yes, we should not do that. But I think that has to be one of my favorites. And then the car liners, I would definitely say are my favorites as well because we don't want to pick up any hitchhikers when we go out on our walks or our hikes. And I think that that's a great, really cool, innovative way to, if they happen to get onto a part of your dog on one of the paws or the ears or something like that that's not protected by that insect shield hoodie, then, you've got a backup plan there. And I think that that's, for me, just this whole line, it's kind of how I see it. This is just a really awesome backup plan for what you should already be doing with your dogs, and your cats, for heartworm and flea and tick prevention. And, we've talked mostly just about dogs. This is something that is safe to use on our kitties as well. And the little mesh tees or the little hoodies, they definitely can work. And if that won't do, if your cat just won't have it, then having one of the little bandanas or something along those lines can work as well.
Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. Dr. Katy, what additional tips? You love to travel as well. So what additional tips can you give listeners to protect their pets on vacation?
If you're taking your pets on vacation, just some of the general tips that I always do is make sure that you've had a recent physical exam, because especially if you're taking your pet out of the state, you do have to have a health certificate in order to cross state lines. And if you're planning to fly with your pets, I would really advise talking with the airline if your pet is larger than 20 pounds and would have to go in the cargo hold. There are pets that die every year down in that cargo hold. It is not a temperature-controlled environment. So it's just something to really think long and hard about if you are going to fly with your pets. It can be a very not only scary environment for them down there in the cargo hold with all of the luggage and stuff knocking around, but it also can be unsafe for them. So unless you're going to travel with your pet in the cabin with you, I really sort of advise against that. And otherwise, if you're going to be traveling and your pets are going to be staying at home, make sure that you've found the very best place that you possibly can. Talk with your veterinarian about the local boarding facilities or pet sitters, and always go and tour those boarding facilities. If they ever tell you you cannot walk back and take a look at where your pet's going to be, my advice is turn on your heel and walk out that front door, because they should be proud of where your pets are going to be, and they should be proud of how they're going to take care of them. So those are sort of my generalized tips. And always, if you are going to travel, make sure that you're bringing an ample amount of food for your pet, a little bit extra than what you think you're going to need, and also make sure that you bring a little bit extra of any medications that your pets are on regularly as well, because you just don't know exactly what's going to happen when you're out there on the road, and if you're going to need a little extra something along the way.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Katy. Andy, for those vacations, what can we take along for us?
Well, I would say certainly having your pet well protected with insect shield.
No, I mean clothes. I mean insect shield clothes for us.
Oh.
Yes. What can we pack?
I tell you, I have T-shirts for myself, insect shield T-shirts. I have insect shield hats. I was just the other day looking at a pair of insect shield pants that another company sells as well. So there are a lot of great products out there, and especially, it's awful what's happening with Zika virus, but that is creating a lot of increased demand for these products for humans as well as for pets.
Jody, I was out in Seattle a little while back, and with the insect shield people, and there was this monstrous rack of adorable clothes that they had hanging up there for kids and women and men. And I said, oh my gosh, where's all this from? I was like, are you guys thinking of getting these treated with insect shield? And the lady was like, no, these are already treated with insect shield. These are already the things that we have on the market. I mean, we're talking about super cute stuff that looks like it came from Lululemon or from Anthropologie or whatever. They've got some great fashions there, especially for ladies. So it's definitely something that you can check out and bring with you. I actually brought a few pieces with me when we went to Mexico for spring break recently. So I highly recommend it. It works very well.
I am so excited. I'm going to go shopping.
Yes, please.
Yes. Andy, where can people see the complete collection for them, for pets, and where can they purchase?
Sure. So actually, our products are at a bunch of pet specialty retailers and most of the major online sites. But the easiest way, if you go to insectshieldforpets.com, we have a complete list of retailers there. You can see all the products that we have, but then you could also see which retailers carry the products and get them that way. But they're at most pet specialty retailers and most of the major online sites as well.
Fantastic. Dr. Katy, where are the best places for listeners to find you?
Well, you can always find me on thepetshow.tv. We've got back episodes there. We've got all the articles that I write and all the things that I'm involved in. And you can also look at adoptable puppies and kitties there as well. So thepetshow.tv is the best place to find me.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much for being on the show. I'm so sorry that we're out of time, but you've given us some really, really great information to think about and act on to protect our pets this summer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jody.
And thank all of you for listening. Thanks to our producer, Mark Winter. He makes us sound so good. Thank you, Mark. My passion is fashion, so tune in next time to discover the designers, home decor, and styles I love. And don't forget to visit me at barkandswagger.com, where you'll find great fashion stories and more. So until next time, when fierce fashion calls, bark and swagger.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.